My dad always used to tell me that if I'm driven by my humble compassion rather than vanity, the fruits of my education and hard work will be far more expansive. However, that's not to say he was exactly keen on the idea of me spending my extracurricular time with seasoned gang members and hardened criminals. But as my college education went on, my interest in prison reform became even deeper, and no longer were the words of politicians and academics sufficient for me. I realized that the only true understanding I could gain about the prison issues were from the inside out. Thus, I found myself standing before a 4-inch thick metal door, separating me between the 4th floor of male inmates at the Metropolitan Detention Center in LA. The warden opened the door and shouted, "Town Hall," and I stood uneasy as 40 men rushed from their cells to the center of the room. Among the crowd, one of the men, who was no older than I, spotted me and shouted, "Hey, does your daddy know you're here?" And laughter erupted. And just like that, I felt that I was completely incapable to be in the situation that I had so eagerly put myself in. Once the excitement subdued, I explained to them why I was there. I was handing out applications that they could fill out so their children could receive charity-sponsored Christmas presents in their name. The objective with that is that maybe these small little gifts will lead to a better, positive, more easy relationship once the people are released from prison. As soon as I finished my sentence, the men swarmed my table, and again, my ability to articulate anything was stifled because I was so intimidated. The first man walked up to me, and in broken Spanish, I asked him how many applications he would need. He told me 7. I grabbed 7, then I asked him how many households that those 7 children were in, and he held up 4 fingers. I asked him if he knew what his release date was. He shrugged, yo no sé. So before checking if he had any custody agreements or protective orders against his children, I finished the rest of his applications and handed them over to him to sign. Before signing them, he made me promise to him that his children would have no indication that he was in prison when they received this present. The next man in line was the one responsible for the comment, "Does your daddy know you're here?" earlier. I could feel his posse of friends standing off in the distance and their cold stares on my face as I asked him how many applications he would need. It was clear this wasn't his first time. He said 3 daughters, 3 households, with a smirk on his face. I gave him his applications and a pen, and I watched him fill out every single application. But I noticed he paused at the bottom of the first application where you pick out the present each child will receive. I told him it's okay, it's simple. Just choose the gift that you want to give to each child. He told me he understood the process, but he realized he hadn't actually asked his children what they had wanted for Christmas in years. I felt a large lump form in my throat, and I wanted to know more. I asked them, "How old are your children?" He said, "I have a 2-year-old daughter, a 5-year-old daughter, and an 8-year-old daughter, and I have no idea what they like to do." Within a couple of minutes, we decided on a paint by number for his oldest daughter, a soccer ball for his middle child, and a coloring set for his youngest. At the bottom of the application, there's a small box allotted for you to write a personal message if you want. In each box, to his daughters, he wrote, "Dad loves you, he misses you, and he'll be home soon." That last part was a blatant lie. I knew he wouldn't be out for another 5 years, making it the longest sentence he had to serve yet. Avoiding eye contact with me, he gave me my pen back and retreated to his cell. Countless stories from similarly situated men echoed in my mind all day. I had started the morning a social justice warrior, ready to fight for these rights of the incarcerated men. By the end of the day, I found myself angry at perfect strangers. I was so heartbroken about the broken and perverted role that family played in the lives of these men. But what made me even more upset was they appeared to be completely apathetic to it. I was so discouraged standing in the midst of all this bleakness that I was ready to go. But when I turned around, the warden tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Excuse me, miss, this young man would like a word." Curious, I turned around to see the father of the 3 young girls. I thought he wanted to make another snarky comment, or maybe change what he wanted to give his daughters for Christmas. Instead, he raised his hand up and said, "Thank you. Without your help, I probably would have messed that up." It was in that moment that I realized all the differences between us draw dark, bold lines, but it was an act of genuine compassion that erased those lines. I'm a white, 22-year-old, English-speaking, college-educated woman. I was, of course, frustrated, trying to make my words resonate with these men who have been subjected to gang violence, drugs, and poverty since the day that they were born. It would have been really easy for me to accept that my naive perspective had little to offer to the circumstances that these men found themselves in, and I could have left that day utterly defeated. But with his simple gesture of gratitude, I learned that compassion, when it's communicated authentically, has the power to translate across age, gender, race, and socioeconomic status. My experience working with incarcerated men has taught me that speaking with compassion is an empowering factor, and it's one that I'll continue to use as I pursue a legal education. Compassion alone stirs up my most powerful and impactful voice, and it allows it to fall on a variety of people that I thought would never want to listen. I walked away that day understanding that when you speak with compassion and you act with compassion, your voice becomes valuable. No longer are you using your voice to preach from an ivory tower, but you're meeting people where they are, you're trying to understand them and speak to them in the language of the human heart. So I stuck my hand up, I shook his hand, and I told him he was welcome. And that for the record, my dad does know I'm here, and because he loves me, I'll be back next week.